Frank Herbert's 1965 novel Dune stands as one of the most influential works in science fiction history. It's a complex tapestry of politics, religion, ecology, and human evolution that has shaped the genre for generations. For decades, Dune was labeled unfilmable due to its intricate world-building, philosophical depth, and reliance on internal monologue. Many considered it too vast and complex to successfully translate to the screen. But everything changed when Denis Villeneuve came along and decided to take a chance on this monumental challenge. The result was stunning, but inevitably different from its source material. And in this video we'll take a look how he managed to do it. Whether you're a long-time Dune fan or new to Arrakis, this analysis aims to deepen your appreciation of both versions of this epic story.
At nightfall, the spice harvesters land. The outsiders race against time to avoid the heat of the day.
Before we dive into specific differences, let's understand the context of this adaptation. Dune's journey to the screen has been notoriously difficult. Alejandro Jodorowsky's ambitious attempt in 1970s collapsed before filming began. David Lynch's 1984 version was a commercial and critical disappointment despite its cult following, though I prefer the Dune series from 2000s. Villeneuve approached the adaptation with two critical decisions: split the book into multiple films, with the 2021 release covering only the first half, and prioritize visual storytelling over the novel's extensive internal monologues. As Villeneuve himself stated, the book is so rich internally, characters have deep thoughts that you cannot translate into cinema without using devices I didn't want to use, like voiceover. Let's start with character differences, which reveal much about the adaptation philosophy. The first one would be Dr. Liet Kynes. Perhaps the most obvious change is that Kynes, the imperial paleontologist, is male in the book, but portrayed by Sharon Duncan Brewerest in the film. This gender swap was meant to bring more diversity into cast of Dune, as Dani himself stated. Kynes' death is also portrayed differently, more dramatic in the film, more contemplative in
only
the book.
one master. His name is Shai Hulud.
Dreams make good stories.
Book readers might be surprised by how prominently Jason Momoa's Duncan Idaho features in the film. While in the book he is important but limited, the film practically gives him his own Aquaman-style action sequences.
I should have come aboard.
While important in the novel, the film significantly expands his role, making him more of a mentor and friend to Paul, likely to establish emotional stakes before his death. The next one is Baron Harkonnen. Stellan Skarsgård's portrayal is menacing, but notably toned down from the book's description. In Herbert's version, the Baron is grotesquely obese, openly, let's say, likes kids, and even more sadistic. I believe this change makes the character more subtle and open to public, while still maintaining his threatening presence. Now let's talk about one of the most intelligent creatures in Dune universe, Mentats. The film drastically reduces the presence of Tefir Havat and Peter Devre, and barely explains what Mentats even are. Human computers in a world that has banned thinking machines after Butlerian Jihad. For example, the role of mentor training is crucial for Paul and its character development, and it was never addressed properly in films. Several key story elements were altered or omitted entirely. One of the most significant cuts is the elaborate dinner party scene on Arrakis. In the book, this is where Paul observes the planet's water politics, secret alliances are formed, and subtle power dynamics are established. This scene brilliantly illustrates the book's political complexity, but would have slowed the film's momentum. Dr. Yueh betrayal. While present in the film, the novel spends much more time developing Wellington's Yueh character, his imperial conditioning, and the painful decision that leads to his betrayal of House Atreides. The film presents this as more straightforward. In the book, for example, we know of betrayal since the very beginning. While the film impressively portrays the Bene Gesserit's voice ability with distorted sound effect, it doesn't fully explain the psychological conditioning behind it. that the book details extensively. In the film, it basically works like a Jedi mind trick with audio effects. The novel themes undergo significant transformation in the adaptation. For example, ecological focus. The book is fundamentally an ecological parable with extensive details about water conservation, terraforming plants, and the interconnected ecosystem of Arrakis. While the film touches on these elements, it doesn't emphasize them as centrally as Herbert did. We could say Herbert wrote an environmental textbook disguised as sci-fi, and Villeneuve made sure we at least recycled the water from our tears during certain scenes. The film simplifies the complex religious and political machinations of the Imperium. The novel explores how the Bene Gesserit planted religious myths across worlds for their own protection and manipulation, creating the missionario protectiva that Jessica uses to their advantage. While the film portrays the Bene Gesserit as powerful and mysterious, it only hints at their millennia-spanning breeding program and political manipulation. The book details how they've been cultivating bloodlines for generations to produce the Kwisatz Haderach. Why were the changes made? Several factors influence the adaptation process. Film is primarily a visual and auditory medium with limited runtime. Books can explore character thoughts directly and develop complex ideas at a reader's pace. Villeneuve had to translate internal experiences into visual language. Modern audiences, especially those unfamiliar with the source material, might find the book's dense political and religious exposition challenging to follow, so the film prioritizes clarity and emotional connection over comparative world-building. And let's be honest, if the film included everything from the book, we'd still be in the theater watching Paul contemplate the meaning of prescience. Also, Villeneuve has his own artistic sensibilities. His focus on vast, awe-inspiring visuals emphasizes the scale of Herbert's universe differently than the novel's intricate detail.
But one day, by imperial decree, they were gone.
A completely faithful adaptation would likely run 5+ hours, so by focusing on the first half of the book, Villeneuve could properly establish the world without rushing through the narrative. It's worth noting that many changes aren't about simplifying the story, but rather translating it to different medium, the movie. Herbert's world building relies heavily on exposition. Villeneuve's relies on visual immersion. Despite these differences, Villeneuve's Dune succeeds remarkably in capturing the essence of Herbert's vision. The film translates the novel's scope and atmosphere while necessarily adapting its storytelling approach. So, what's lost? Some philosophical depth, political complexity in ecological details that make the novel so rich and thought-provoking. But what's gained? A visual stunning interpretation that makes this complex universe accessible to new audiences, bringing Herbert's vision to life through spectacular imagery and sounds. So, rather than viewing the film as a replacement for the book, we might better appreciate it as a companion piece, each version of Dune offering its own unique strengths. The film excels in immersing us visually in the world of Arrakis, while the novel provides unparalleled depth and philosophical richness. For those captivated by Villeneuve's film, the novel offers a deeper dive into this fascinating universe. And personally, this is how I got into the universe, because I was impressed by the film. And for longtime book fans, the film provides a fresh perspective on a beloved classic.
Let's get you out of the sun.
Thank you for watching, and if you like the video, you can click the like button, and if you really like the video, you can click the subscribe button, or you can do both, because there will be more content like that. So, thank you and have a good day. And remember, the spice must flow, but so must the subscribers count. I hope the focus sees me. So yeah, go ahead and subscribe. See you.